Duh.
It is?
Yeah. Tomorrow's Saturday, child. Get with the program. Duh.
I thought that was Thursday.
Oh my goodness. I was all like, wait, what do you mean? Of course. Right? You be tripping, girl. You be tripping. Mm-hmm. Alexa, stop. Good morning, guys. How are you all doing today? Swell. Well, swell is always a good thing. That's awesome. All right, we're going to start with some literature today. So if you want to open up your literature book, page 333. Page 333, The Idols of the King. Idols of the King. You guys read this last night. We're going to highlight a few things. Bring your attention to it. We're going to have a reading quiz over it. But first, I figure you should highlight, just kind of review what you read. Hopefully you read it and you know all about it because you're brilliant like that. Anyway, so that being said, on page 333, we want to highlight in the background section, right in the middle, we have a bold word called idol. You want to highlight that. Idol means a brief picture, sketch, or a scene. So you want to be sure you know that. Idol is a brief picture, sketch, or a scene. So Idol of the King is a brief picture of a king. All right, from Guinevere is what it's coming from. So it's about King Lancelot, and then of course King Arthur. So these are the things it's about specifically. So you want to be sure you highlight that and know that. On the next column, you'll see the theme. The theme of the Idols of the King is the war of sense with soul, or the flesh of the spirit, is the theme of the entire work. So you want to be sure that you are familiar with that. All right, so be sure that you know that the theme of the Idols of the King is the war of sense with soul, or the flesh of the spirit. It's right there up in your background section up there. We're highlighting that. And of course, this is the story is Idols of the King. It's from Guinevere specifically. This is the story of Lancelot and Guinevere, illustrating how the growth and corruption of sin overcomes virtue. And as you read this, I hope you discovered that as you went along through that. On page 334, line 68, we're going to see about Sir Mordred. Sir Mordred, you want to know about him. Hopefully you read it, you remember something about him. We're going to have questions about that in the future. So know something about Sir Mordred right there. Page 338, you also read this part, the passing of Arthur. The passing of Arthur. All right, and this is when his last instructions are given to Sir Bedivere regarding the disposal of his sword Excalibur. So the whole point of this story is the disposal, getting rid of the sword of King Arthur. So I hope you read that as well to discover what happened to that sword. On page 340, line 145, something was important about the 3 times that he did something. So I hope you read that again and paid attention to that. 3 times something happened. And then when he threw the sword into the water, finally, something else happened that was pretty important. So again, I hope you read the story so that you're familiar with that and how important these things are. All right, so this is all your reading yesterday. Was kind of highlighting a few things that were important throughout that. So you were supposed to read the Idols from Idols of the King from Guinevere, and you were supposed to have read the passing of Arthur. So all that to be said right now, I'd like you to close up your literature books. Close up your literature book, get out a note card or a piece of paper, number it 1 to 5. We're going to have a reading quiz. All right, so this is your 5-question quiz. 5-question quiz. What I would like for you to do is to take this quiz, write your 5 answers down. In a moment, I'm going to show you another slide in which you will get the answers and you will grade yours. Now, this is based solely off of the character of your person. Once you grade yours, I want you to put it in the comment section where the chat box. The chat box is to me only, so nobody else will see your comment. But in the chat spot, I'd like you to put your grade when we get to that point. At the moment, though, these are your 5 questions for the stories we read. And your literature book should remain closed. It's not an open book quiz. It is from your memory of what you gained from the Idols of the King. A brief picture or sketch of the king. Yes. Sam.
There's like a black box in the top right corner, so I can't really see like the end of the first question.
All right, there you go. Yeah, it's my conversation box to see your hands up. Sorry. Oh, wait.
Oh.
All right, there you go. I think I got it off the
Thank you.
words. Yep. All right, when you finish, if you wouldn't mind just putting up a clap hand symbol or something like that, or raise your hand actually. That way I know you're finished, and we'll go to the answers. So when you're finished, raise your hand so I can know that you have answered your 5 questions. Hi, are all of you seeing this screen? Besides, that conversation box, there's one box that's black in here, but the rest of you should be seeing this, right?
Yeah, I see that.
All right, Michaela, is yours still a black screen?
Yes, hold on. Then the chat box is open.
Maybe you need to sign back in. Maybe something's not quite working correctly with your Zoom account. Anybody else having that problem that Michaela's having? No? Michaela, are you seeing it now? All right, Michaela, I just screenshotted you the screen, so just take it from the picture, answer your questions, and then I'll give you the answers, and I'll read the next screen out loud when we get to the answers screen. That is strange since your computer is doing that. Everybody else's is fine. That is weird if yours looks like that. All right, outside of Michaela, who's screening the questions for the first time, anybody else need more time for this? Yes? No?
No.
All right, Michaela, put your hand up when you're finished. All right, Michaela, do you see that now?
No.
You still see that? So that sharing thing is just not working on your computer then. That's weird. I thought maybe because I had I was running the slideshow. Maybe when I play the slideshow, that's not working on yours.
Is it punctuation and words?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so maybe I just can't run the slideshow for you. Are you on the iPad? Or you're on your notebook?
Now it's a green screen. On the laptop. What is happening? Is there greener on yours too?
No, none of us have.
This is what?
Yeah.
The second screen, we can see the answers.
Yeah, I know, but we're going to answer them in just a moment. The rest of you are done anyways. I'm trying to see if she can see any of it.
What's happening?
All right, Michaela, do you just have your answers done?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's just go over the answers and we'll find out why your computer's not reading it correctly. All right, everybody, these are the correct answers. So check your answers and in the chat box, put your grade back with us. When you finish, you need to just, if you miss 1, it's a 90, 2 an 80, 3 a 70, 4 a 60. If you miss them all, it's a 0. In the chat box, put 90, 80, 70, 60, whatever your percentage is. Again, this is off of your character. If I find that, on average, all of a sudden we're getting hundreds all the time, we normally don't ever get hundreds, then we might have to change the way we do this. But at the moment, we'll see if this works. All right, Michaela, for now, just focus on, I'm going to give you the answers, but just focus on what I'm saying instead of the screen at the moment. We'll get out of this in a moment. All right, so number 1, which of the characters is symbolic of Christ and the soul? The answer should have been King Arthur. King Arthur. Number 2, where did Guinevere flee after her relationship with Lancelot was discovered? A convent. She fled to a convent. Number 3, who came to visit Guinevere just after her conversation with the novice? That was King Arthur. Number 4, who came in the barge to get Arthur? The 3 queens. And lastly, what came out of the lake when Sir Bedivere finally threw King Arthur's sword into the water? An arm. An arm came out of there. So again, all right, Monkey, Travis, right?
Yeah, I wrote down hand. Is that incorrect? Or?
No, I'll take that. An arm and hand. That's okay. That'll be fine.
Okay.
All right, anyone else with a question? Okay, so King Arthur, a convent, King Arthur again, 3 queens, and then an arm or a hand to catch the sword came out of the lake. All right, so once you finish grading yours, again, 90, 80, 70, all those need to go into the chat box if you don't mind. That way I can see how you did in this. All right, and that being said, we're going to go over to our grammar book, and we're going to go to page 154, page 154, punctuation. We'll come back to literature when we're finished here. Punctuation. Are everybody there? All right, good. All right, use a period to end a declarative sentence in an imperative sentence. This is really old, like elementary information, so I'm sure you know this, but we're just going to review it, and then we're going to practice it. Use a period, of course, to end an indirect question. It's not really a question, it's implied. Use a period to end a polite request disguised as a question. So you're asking someone to do something for you, but you're really not asking them, it's a request. Use a period to indicate an abbreviation. 42.5, use a question mark to end an interrogative sentence, a question. Use an exclamation point. You want to highlight 42.6 and 42.7. Use an exclamation point to end an exclamatory sentence, something with strong feeling. And then use an exclamation point to end an imperative sentence, strongly stated, so like a strong command, to get somebody's attention. All right, commas. Use a comma and a coordinated conjunction to join 2 independent clauses. Actually, I'm going to stop. No, we're going to do commas. To join 2 independent clauses. We've done this a lot of times. We've had a comma and an and. If it's a dependent clause, it's just usually a comma because you have your subordinated conjunction, dependent clause, comma, and the rest of your independent sentence. But if you have 2 independent clauses, they're combined with a comma and a conjunction, or you can just simply put a semicolon there instead. 42.9, use a single comma to indicate that a word or words have been omitted or to avoid a possible misreading. So when something seems a little bit hard to comprehend, it's good to put a comma and kind of break things up for clearer understanding. So sometimes that's necessary, especially when something's been left out. Sometimes we say a sentence and we leave out, we imply what was already there and leave it out, and we omit things. Sometimes a comma is necessary. On page 156, use a single commas to separate two or more coordinate adjectives preceding a noun. So I want to be sure you're familiar with that. A single comma to separate two or more coordinated adjectives preceding a noun. So again, when you're describing something, you need to put commas in between all those adjectives. All right. Sometimes we have too many adjectives in commas. Like Laura seems to be a kind, considerate person. So comma between kind and considerate. All right. So that's how that's going to be used. All right. So that being said, we're going to look at our workbook, page 76. Page 76 today. Exercise 142. I'm going to give you a moment to read through those sentences. Add commas where they're needed in the sentences. If a sentence is correct, write a C next to it. Otherwise, put commas where they need to go. So commas, punctuation, page 76, exercise 142. All right, Jessica, are you the one that says what is this supposed to be? The Mopin 13 Reasons Why? That's you?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to be sure I am giving points to the right places. Okay, thank you guys for being honest about your answers. Now, nobody sees my group chat box, right? It's just a black screen for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not posting out grades out there. I don't intend for anybody to see them, so I just want to make sure that's how that's working correctly. Are you guys all done with the punctuation? The commas? All right, good. Thumbs up in your box if you're done. Thank you, Sam. Chloe, Jeremy, Naya. Rest of you guys there? Thumbs up. You're done? Where's your... You don't know how to use your little... There we go, Travis. Good job. You guys know how to put a thumbs up in there? All right, well, you guys need to find those. Yeah, I see your physical thumb, but find your little thumb icon in your pictures and your options over there and do that next time. All right, so let's go ahead and go over our answers. I'm going to start, Zach, you're up in the front for me at the very top. We'll just work our way around the screen. So number 1, where did you put commas, Zach? Good, perfect. Yep, that was it. Good job. All right, Anaya, number 2.
After highway and accommodations.
Oh, perfect. Well done. Good job. Jessica, number 3.
I put a comma after more.
After nor, neither Rahab nor Ruth. No, we wouldn't put a comma there.
I'll put this. And then that's it.
Okay, so we actually have like 2 independent thoughts. We have neither Rahab nor Ruth were Israelites. Both were in the lineage of Christ. So I have 2 independent clauses there combined with the conjunction yet. When we combine 2 independent clauses, we get a comma conjunction. So neither Rahab nor Ruth were Israelites, comma, yet. Both were in the lineage of Christ. So that's where our comma belongs for number 3. All right, Chloe, number 4.
Between long and mournful, and then after coyotes.
Okay, perfect. Well done. All right, Jeremy, number 5.
Is it correct?
It is correct. Good job. Michaela, number 6. Michaela, number 6.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
After painting.
Yes, after painting. Sorry, I didn't hear you. And Travis, lastly, number 7.
Correct.
No. All right, we're giving 3 different things that faith does. Sees the invisible, believes the incredible, receives the impossible. All right, so it's a
Yeah.
list, right? So where would I?
Invisible
Uh-huh.
and after incredible.
All right, good. There we go. Yeah, that's tricky. That's like a song right there. 3 things faith does, and these are the 3 things. All right, good job. Good job. All right, let's go back to literature. Today, for literature, we're going to read page 342. Oops, too far. Page 342, The Princess, The Revenge, all the way through to page 348, Locksley's Hall 60 years later, and Crossing the Bar. So let's highlight a few things in these pages before you read them tonight. From The Revenge, you want to highlight The Revenge. You want to know that story. You want to know that Sir Richard Grenville, with 1 ship and a handful of men, stood against a Spanish fleet of 53 vessels and 15,000 men. You want to know that fact from The Revenge, A Ballad of the Fleet. Sir Richard Grenville, with 1 ship and a handful of men, stood against a Spanish fleet of 53 vessels and 15,000 men. That's what this poem is representing. So you want to be sure you're familiar with that and read through this poem to have a good understanding of that. On page 348, the last page you'll read today, page 348, you want to highlight Crossing the Bar. Crossing the Bar. As Tennyson and his son passed over the narrow strait that separates the Isle of Wight from England, the idea for this poem came to him. The bar is a sandbar at the harbor's mouth, but it also stands for the barrier between this life and the next, which is death. A few days before his death, you want to highlight this part. Tennyson requested that his poem always be placed at the end of his works. This request has been honored in all of the many editions of his poetry. So any poetry that you see by Tennyson, you will find this at the end of the work, like if it's a book with his works in it. At the end of his works, you'll find this poem, Crossing the Bar. This is the one that he requests to be placed at the end of all of his works. The theme is the barrier between this life and the next. So you want to highlight that as well. You'll see that up there a little further in the paragraph. The barrier between this life and the next is what the bar represents. And when you're crossing that bar from life right now into eternity, that's what he's referring to as you read this poem by Lord Alfred Tennyson. All right, so that's your homework for tonight, is to read those pages. Your essay is due, so hopefully all of you have your essay now uploaded to me. I'll be grading those and getting them back to you. The next project you should be working on is your book report. That is due next Thursday. So your critical book report hopefully was about done before. We started that like a while ago, like 8 weeks ago, I think. We started reading it anyways. Had that date out there a long time ago. I pushed it back, so now it's not due until next Thursday. So you have 1 week left to finish reading your book if you haven't read it, and then to write your critical book review. That was in your handbook. There's a page about the critical book review. If you need to review that, you will find that on page 233. Page 233, written critical book review. So if you'd like to get some instructions on that as you prepare to write your critical book review, if you need a reminder, page 233, it's been a little while since we looked at that, you might want to review that. Be sure that you're following those directions as you write your critical book review, that you're keeping those steps in mind and the purpose of a critical book review. I'm going to unmute you. Anybody have any questions? Anyone have a question? No? All right, Michaela, hopefully we can figure out what's going on with your computer with the slide share today, or the screen share. See what's going on with PowerPoint and that. But otherwise, if nobody has any questions, I wish you a great weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday at 11 o'clock. All right, guys? All right, have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.